Welcome to Manifest Podcast. This is a 12-week series where we are really focusing on manifesting abundance. This is week 7, episode 7, and I'm excited for this one because this is kind of the start for many people in the world of metaphysics. We are talking about the law of attraction. It is the principle that like attracts like. Now, back about maybe 15 years ago, the law of attraction became a buzzword. It became this whole movement. And since then, some people have opinions about it in that, oh, it doesn't work, or yeah, it works for some people, or whatever. There's just a lot of energy around it. And so I want to dive into it. I want to really have us explore the law of attraction and specifically about how we can have it work for us. And I don't want to skip over that it's not just the law of attraction that is metaphysics. It is the metaphysical philosophy is that there are many natural laws here at work. So not only like law of attraction is just one piece of the pie. And without seeing the full spectrum, just taken on its own, I can appreciate that maybe it just wouldn't work if that's the only place that the arena that you're playing in. And so law of attraction has its incredible benefits, which we're going to talk about. And I don't want to skip over that it's going to be part of a bigger picture, which we have been exploring in our past 6 weeks. And I will continue to explore all the way through to episode 12. So let's dive in. So the law of attraction is really a saying that like attracts like. Okay, so what does that mean? Like attracts like is talking about energy. It's talking about my energy is having an impact on my manifesting process. What I am attracted to is this space that I'm projecting out and saying I want that. And so as I vibrate at a certain frequency, as my energy and who I am based on my thoughts and my feelings and all that energy is being put out into the world, it is attracting to me exactly what it is I'm putting out. And that's the basic principle of it is how my energy is being projected outward, and that is what's calling life towards me. So as I experience life around me, I can take the powerful approach that everything around me is happening for me. Now, where this trips people up is, what about the bad stuff? What about my negative thoughts? What if, what if, what if? As we are on this journey of metaphysics and manifesting, we don't want to skip over that we are human beings and we aren't in control of our thoughts. We can't actually be able to say and catch every single thing that happens. So we want to first just be really responsible for us as human beings. Listen, we have pasts, we have thoughts, we have feelings, we have judgments. We need to operate in this world in such a way that we need to be safe. And so we want to first just get that, yes, we will have moments where we might have a thought, a feeling, a judgment that when we really tap in, it's more of a negative, heavier energy. Okay. And we want to be responsible for that because that energy does have an impact. Now, don't go, beating yourself up over this. All that this is just an access to your own internal power. Life is a journey. If abundance is on your roadmap, it's going to be a journey. We're not going to just transform overnight. And that's why we want to keep these videos in our minds and re-listen to them and remind us and get structures in place so that we can really start to refine what it is and how we're experiencing life. So back to the law of attraction. So we have thoughts and feelings. We are human. And where we want to participate in our life as much as possible in a daily ritual, get in the habit of it, is to be aware, be mindful. We want to tap in, we want to check in. If I start to have a feeling that doesn't feel right, this is a great opportunity to say, okay, I've hit a barrier. What's in my way? The more we can tap in that we are bumping against some edges and we can start to look at it, we will begin to release these binding thoughts and feelings and allow those energetic, more heavier feelings to release, which is going to move our energy up. The more we can keep our energy up, be empowered, be inspired, take on tasks in a way that lift us up and bring us joy. That's our day-to-day intentions. Because as we project these joyful experiences and feelings and thoughts, that's what's being put out to the universe, and that's what's going to be being brought back. And so the full circle with the law of attraction is to really just take on being mindful of what am I thinking? What am I feeling? And on the other side of it, it doesn't always just start in here. It could be that you take a moment and you look outside of yourself, look in your environment, look at the people, look at their what's impacting you that's shifting your energy and bringing you down. It could be as simple as the people that you're hanging around with or the conversations that you keep having. It could be your physical environment. It could be. All of the stuff that we're looking at is just what it is it's checking in to be responsible for what is causing my energy. Because when like attracts like, in the law of attraction, all we really have power over is our mindfulness and our responding to life. So we're going to be responding to our thoughts, responding to our emotions, responding to our environment. That we can have power over. So when I take on abundance in my life and I apply the law of attraction, it comes down to what I say in every episode is, what do you want? Like, where are we headed? What is important to you? Because when we have a goal, when we have a purpose, when we have an intention, we then lay the groundwork for what are we observing against. So for example, if I write a to-do list on what it is I would love to see happen today as a request to the universe, what may happen is effortless things open up and all is well. And oh my gosh, I had such a great day. I got so much done. Or, for example, like me this morning, instead, I got a phone call from the government. There was some issue, and my morning did not go according to what I had planned on my to-do list. Taking on the law of attraction, getting that phone call from the government as an example, what it had me do is, instead of feeling stuck, disempowered, oh no, fearful, the government, why are they calling? I leaned in. And was like, ooh, what is here for me in this scenario? What did I intend that had this phone call happen? So can you hear curiosity, leaning into wonder, and instead of my energy being in the fear zone, it actually was lifted into curiosity, got me into a more of an empowering zone. Listening to the person on the phone giving me information, I stayed in the give me the facts. What so? Turns out they said I didn't pay something. My brain went, but I did. So all there was for me to do was to work it out. 3 hours later, I got to the bottom of what so, I was still empowered. And yeah, my to-do list didn't get done. However, I was empowered the whole time. And what I really got resolved in all of that was an impact on my process of how I was scheduling something. Being able to powerfully deal with it in a way that left me still very much empowered, had me take on my list, continue doing what I intended to do without any loss of power. And so I'm saying all this because you can hopefully hear that we have an energetic place that we want to be the observer of, want to be able to tap into, am I empowered or disempowered? Am I empowered or disempowered? And specifically why the phone call I'm talking about it is because it was related to money. It was related to my own conversations around how much money we have to give to the government. And, so I was able to really have power over limited thoughts, limited beliefs. And one of the commitments I had for 2024 was to have a powerful relationship to our government and to paying taxes and being responsible. That was something I created in January. So in January, I put an intention on my paper that said, this is how I'm going to operate. And then as the phone call came, who answered that call was someone who was empowered to have a real straight conversation with the government, because that was my commitment. And I was never lost. I was never disempowered in that call. And it hasn't made a dent in my day. I'm still in a very high state. And here we are. Now, take the case that if I didn't create that and I avoided the phone call, who knows where that would have led? Or I picked it up and was afraid. What if I was defensive? What if I was reactionary and was like, are you kidding me? I did pay it. What are you talking about? Any sort of loss of power I might have brought to that scenario could have resulted in a situation that I'm not up for. I'm not up for it. I want to have power. So it's an example of being the observer, being mindful. And if we forget, we go back. If we forget, we go back. So in the world of a law of attraction, we want to get that we have, it really does, the power is inside of us and we get to say. Now, what happens if we can't be powerful in the moment and we react instead of respond? Then what? I want to introduce the concept of cleaning up a mess. So I would call that, like, say I did pick up the call and I got reactionary and it didn't go well. I could phone them again and apologize. I would call that I made a mess. So now I'm going to clean up the mess. In other realms, we call this an integrity conversation. So really bringing integrity to our lives. And in the world of abundance, prosperity, and really in the world of metaphysics, the more we connected we are to our own selves, the more we're connected to our word and what we said we wanted, the more we take action in alignment of what we said we wanted. We are operating in a world of integrity. And man, it's a straight road. It's a straight road. If we dip, if we go and we realize we're no longer in alignment, because it happens, then all we need to do is find a way to clean it up. Now, how do we know how to clean it up? Number one, if it just impacts so scan and first say, does this impact anyone else? And oftentimes it does. So if it involves other people, we want to be able to feel comfortable to reach out and have a conversation and apologize and say, this is what I did. And if it had any impact on you, I want to hear it. Can we be in the world of hearing how that is for us? And then asking, what can I do to make this right again? I may not be able to make things go back in history as if it never happened, but what can I do to make it better? Here's a great example. If I broke someone's precious vase that was their great grandfather's, I will never, ever be able to A, replace it with another one, or B, put it back together in a way that restored it back to how it was. So this would be a perfect example of like a worst case scenario. Is something happened, I made a mess, literally, and I cannot rewind it and I can't fix it to make it exactly how it was. So now what? It's not for me to choose how to make it better for that person who's just lost this precious vase. It's only for me to ask them, like, what do you say would make a difference, and how can we work on this together? When we can have a conversation about cleaning that up and literally doing our best to make it as best as possible, that is all we can do. And so reaching out, having conversations and getting that really clear is very powerful. And so can you imagine that kind of rigor if we were to put that on ourselves? If I were to take on, like, I'm going to save $500 a month, I'm going to put it in that account and I'm not going to touch it. And then I went in and I needed it. So I broke my promise. So how do I restore that? That's a conversation because I'm not impacting anyone else and it's just impacting me, I get to say. So I get to have a conversation with myself. Well, how would I like to resolve it? Do I just apologize and, kind of like, not apologize? Well, you can apologize to yourself if you want, but tuning in and saying, okay, what would be the ideal? Can I just be okay that I had to dip in and forgive myself? Yes, check. Okay. How do I want to make it better? Do I want to put more money in next month? Is that even possible? If so, that'll make me feel pretty good. Okay, can I commit to it? Is it realistic? If not, and it's like, yeah, you know what? It's just, I have to let it go. I had to just do it. I'm going to move on. Then great. Move on. Feel powerful in saying, I did what I did and I didn't do what I didn't do, and I'm complete. And next month, I promise that I'm going to do it again. Why? Because it matters to me. And then I move on from there. I've restored my integrity and now I'm my word again. So what is my word is I'm going to put $500 away next month. So here we go again. I love the concept of it being a game. Like, okay, let's play a game, put money away every month. And sometimes I win the game and sometimes I don't. But are we going to flip the board, tape the board and say, this is ridiculous, I didn't win this round? No, you just like, oh, okay, didn't make it this time. And how can I strategize and make things better? And what is missing so that if I were to add it, would make it better for next month. So it's a fun game. And being able to really just be powerful with who we say we are and what we're up to. So law of attraction is all about putting out to the universe what it is that we want. So do you know what you want? Go back to your list of 100 things that you've created for yourself. Remind yourself, because sometimes we forget. Once we get clear what it is we want to really be in alignment with that. So how do we do that? It could be visualizing ourselves already have had that. That sometimes can really get that energy match of, I want to have $1 million. Well, what does someone with $1 million look like, feel like, walk like, think like? What's their day look like? And start to be that, because we are creating that vibration of that level so that that level can go out to the universe and come back to us. So it's a constant game of creating, intending, taking action, noticing, and bringing it back, and allowing that gratitude and joy to be able to fill us up again so that we continue on this momentous journey. So there's a little bit about law of attraction today, and just really being tuned into how you really are energetically. So just watch yourself this week as you go. See, what is there stores that you go into that make you feel good? Like, really, what is going to have you feel good this week? Write that down and take action in that area. Let's get that vibration lifted. Let's lift it up high so that we can really start to tap into joy, laughter, connection, and in the world of thriving, creating. That's the energy we all want to swim in. We want to play there. We really want to have that be our experience. And then from that space, just watch the magic happen. So with that, have an amazing week, and we'll see you here next week.